friends, Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boost Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I know everybody's mad today and trashing the team and stuff, but you know what? I'm not going to trash the team because I'm actually pretty happy at the moment because I think about where we were last year at this time. Hang on for 1 second. I think about where we were last year at this time, where we ended up with 6 wins on the whole season. And we looked at a lot of dead weight on the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, you know, from Micah Parsons, not getting, boy, I'm just going to Jalen Smith. We looked at guys like Deontay Poe and Emerson Griffin. We looked at having offensive linemen that couldn't block. Yesterday was what's actually amazing how things change. In the early part of the season, I was looking at Tyler Badish, because Tyler Badish, when we had the Tampa Bay game, he kind of got manhandled. And he looked rough. But yesterday, he's the only offensive lineman that didn't give up a pressure. He actually played really, really well, which is great because you need to be able to anchor the center of the line. Zach Martin got beat on a play, but you know what? He got beat for a sack. His second sack he's given up since 2018, I believe. I'm not going to be mad at Zach. We had problems at the tackles, without a doubt. We had problems across the offensive line all across the board. But to see our defense going on the road with losing players that we thought were supposed to be our top dogs, to not even have Neville Gallimore out there, to not have DeMarcus Lawrence, not to have Randy Gregory, for those guys to be able to go out there and really shut down Kansas City. Pat Mahomes only had like 260 yards. No touchdowns. Was it 2 turnovers or 3? I'm trying to remember. I think it was 2 interceptions, wasn't it? Or was it 1? Yesterday's kind of a daze. But we still have more work to do. We turned over a defense completely. Okay, listen. The guys out there starting on the defensive line, I think Tristan Hill was the only one that played on the defensive line that played last year. That is insane when you think about it. Van Der Esch, and other than Anthony, well, our cornerbacks, okay? But Diggs, you can look at and say that was the beginning of changing things over because this is only his second year. But the Cowboys turned over the defense and improved from 29th to like 10th. I got to see where the numbers sit this morning. But for them to only give up 19 points to Kansas City, they have been averaging 21 points being given up. That's actually amazing. And so it can be done. The thing that we always do as Cowboy fans, and as the Cowboys as an organization, is they have a tendency to hold on to guys for too long. Too many times we have a guy that has a good season, and in the past we say, oh, we can't live without that guy. And every time we have done that, when we looked and said, Miles Austin, oh man, he's a playmaking wide receiver, even though he had a history of hamstring issues, we signed him to a mega deal. And it ended up being we didn't get the money back for it. You could look at Dez Bryant, and I'm going to get crucified here, but once we ended up paying him, we didn't get a return on the investment of Dez Bryant. But we kept saying, we got to have Dez, we got to have Dez. And see, the thing about the NFL is, you're not a star until you become one. I'm sure that not too many people thought that Micah Parsons was going to become that guy. You can look at it right now and say, maybe Micah Parsons should have been a top 3 pick. You know, it's easy retrospectively to look at that, but yeah. Mac Jones, Micah Parsons, that's the list. That's where you look and say, wow, he's a game changer. Here's the thing that's crazy about it is Micah Parsons, I thought he had 3 sacks yesterday, but apparently they only credited him with 2. But even with that, he still has 8 sacks, which ties DeMarcus Ware's rookie record. This also, for the last 20 years, no rookie has had more than 8 sacks. In fact, there's only one other guy who's had 8 in the last 20 years as a rookie. And that is Von Miller. That is rare air, because we keep putting these things. Junior Seau and Micah Parsons are the only 2 players back to back as rookies to have 10 tackles and 4 pressures 2 weeks in a row. Micah Parsons is there. He has changed this defense and this identity, and it's time to start saying that this is Micah Parsons' defense. He is the leader. He is becoming, and people, when I started saying this, I said this weeks ago, quite a long time ago. I said Micah Parsons is becoming like Lawrence Taylor. Giant fans will go, oh, how dare you? But you look at the effect and the ability and the tenacity that he has. Micah Parsons, straight up beast and game changer, and makes everybody else around him better. Hang on, I gotta turn the heat off. It's getting too hot in here. So, seeing what Micah Parsons has done and how the defense has responded, if somebody told you in the beginning of the season that DeMarcus Lawrence could be expendable, you would say you're out your damn mind. There's no way that this defense is going to be any good without DeMarcus Lawrence. Well, you start looking at this and it makes you realize and think differently than what you've thought in the past. See, the Cowboys, in some regard, and I said sent a video a few days ago, and people are laughing, but I'm saying that because of Michael Gallup getting the opportunity now to be the 1 for Thanksgiving, and Amari Cooper getting some time to rest, it actually gives you an experiment to see, can we make it without Amari Cooper? What will life be without Amari Cooper? Or do we look at saying we got to pay Michael Gallup, knowing that some of the history of when we've paid wide receivers big money that we don't get a return on it? And this also makes you look and say, D-Law is a $27 million hit next year. Can the Dallas Cowboys afford to keep him and let a lot of these guys that are playing valuable minutes right now go? And that's a hard decision you have to make. And I'm not saying that we should or shouldn't, but that's what you have to look at. When you look at the guys like Brett Urban, although he's been on IR, he'll be coming off soon. Brett Urban, when you look at guys like Randy Gregory, when you look at guys like Keanu O'Neal and Jaron Kearse, and the guys that have been here making this defense a top 10 scoring defense, you're talking about keeping DeMarcus Lawrence with his heavy salary and letting a bunch of those guys that performed this year go. And that's across the board. My buddy Stu was saying that what's lost in the shuffle, I'm not the draft guy, but they say that this draft is full of offensive linemen, and that may be where this team definitely needs to go. You know, for years we've been looking and talking about Tyron Smith and you know, the big guy. When he's healthy, he's the best in football. The problem is when you really need him, he's not always there. And you've got to be prepared for every scenario. We can't keep banking and saying, well, he's looked great this offseason. He's got all kinds of treatment. He's back to Tyron Smith. Well, back to Tyron Smith is now, unfortunately, a guy that misses a lot of time. But for the guys who are underneath that don't have that big contract, these are the auditions for them. So we'll see where that goes. Micah Gallup, you the guy this week. CeeDee Lamb is probably going to be questionable, if not doubtful, if not already out. If it was, in fact, a concussion, and it seems like the Cowboys are kind of tight-lipped on what the ailment was, I don't see how you're going to get a concussion protocol by Thursday. So we'll see. Okay, y'all. Got to go get me some more wood. Got to get me some more light bulbs, too. Light bulbs burned out up there, because I got to be able to see what I'm doing in here and get back to this stuff. Hope you guys tune in tonight for our live stream. We'll be watching Tampa Bay versus the Giants. Hope to see you there. Peace.